Here we are again. Let's get ready. Howdy to you. Let's get ready for blast off. Thunderbirds are go. I think that's what they used to say, wasn't it? So much to do tonight. So much to do. So much to cover. Hello. Welcome to Elvis the Ultimate Fan Channel. As you can see on screen, 13:31, just after 1:30 in the afternoon in Memphis, Tennessee. And look where I am. Look, folks. 2 weeks ago, I was back that way, and I was in Marion Keisker's office. Then last week, I was actually in the studio itself, and I said if I could, I would try and make it into the studio's control room. And lo and behold, here I am in the control room of Sun Studio. And probably next week I'll be in the parking lot. So yes, as you can see, the top of the screen there, welcome to ETUFC, Elvis the Ultimate Fan Channel, the global Elvis community channel, because that's what it is, because it is global, because as you probably might have known by now, when I tell you most weeks that there's people in America, there's people in Australia, England, Ireland, of course, all over the globe that actually watch this show, and I am so grateful to people that actually tune in, whether it be live or whether it be on catch up. Okay, so as I say, it's hosted by YouTube's #1 sex symbol. It's me. I can't believe I said that. Now Elvis is gone. Somebody has to be #1. Somebody has to do it. Yeah, okay. Let's just forget those last 20 seconds, will we? So coming up is live interactive poll. I've got a good one for you. And I wish Elvis had recorded. And I think it's by Brent. Hi, Brent, if you're watching, from Elvis Nation. Yes, Brent suggested this one. So I think you'll be interested in what he's picked for I Wish Elvis Had Recorded. Photoshop of the Week. Caption this photo. It was a lovely photo this week, wasn't it? Of Elvis and a little old lady. And we'll be coming to that shortly as well. Smoking hot photo. Yeah, say no more. This day in Elvis history, of course, I always just like to tell you what Elvis was doing down the years on this particular day. And a YouTube channel I recommend as well. And again, it's a really, really good one. The topic, which will be coming up shortly, I know some people were worried about it. In fact, I got a couple of messages saying they were worried about what I'd heard and seen this week. Well, don't worry too much, but it's something that, not to put too fine a point on it, I wasn't too happy about. It annoyed me, and it takes a lot to get me annoyed, but I was annoyed about this. So we'll come to that. You can call me free on WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger when I open the lines. And of course, I'd like to also thank you for all the kind messages and emails of support and so forth that you send me during the week. I will start also by saying that everybody that watches this live stream tonight and anybody that watches it on playback during the week, if I could sincerely ask them to give this a thumbs up, because it really, really will help. I failed miserably last week to get 300 likes, but the previous week we got more than 300 likes. So that's the target again, 300 likes. And as I always say, it's not a like for me, it's a like for Elvis. So every like that this video gets is a like for Elvis, because, and I think Brent was saying this the other night on his live stream, he was saying that the way likes work is that YouTube look to see how many likes a particular video is getting, and the more likes it gets, the more it gets recommended. And this is what we need, isn't it? The Elvis family gives me a $1.99 super chat. Thanks very much, Maxine. That's very, very kind of you. And if anybody else would like to say anything that I wouldn't normally see on the chat, they can send a super chat and I'll read it out. So yeah, that's the way it works. The more thumbs up, the more a YouTube recommend a video and the more people see it. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep Elvis's name out there as much as we can, because that's what it's all about. So it's not a like for me, it's a like for Elvis. I think I've covered it all. Yes, I think I have. So yeah, let's do this week's quiz. And I see that both Ludane and Maxine are in the building. And I'm not sure if Dave is as well, but they are my two moderators. I'll just watch out for Dave to see if he's here. Guess what it is? Guess what it is? And I have a new jingle as well for who gets the answer right as well. So look forward to that. It is Backwards Elvis. Elvis Backwards. Yeah, it is Elvis Backwards or Backwards Elvis. And Helen Murray says 145 watching and only 75 thumbs ups. So let's see if we can get 145 thumbs up, please. So, a sip of water before I go any further. And we're going to do Backwards Elvis. Elvis Backwards. I just couldn't resist playing that again, to be honest. And somebody says that Elvis Backwards is Sively. Yeah, that's Mrs. EAP. I think backwards, says Paul. Yeah. Charmaine says, love your program. Thank you very, very much. Very, very kind. Gracie G says, okay, got a phone call. I tried to keep it short. Gracie, do you want us to hang on while you finish the phone call before we do Backwards Elvis? I'm thinking of giving away Elvis 72 vinyl this month as the prize, but I know not everybody has a turntable. So if the winner this year, Jeff Davidson says, I don't want to destroy EP. No, nobody does. And that will be coming up in a few minutes. Oh, something else I wanted to say. I'm glad that he said that, because it reminds me that what I'm going to do after I have finished this live stream is in the comment section, I'm going to pin a comment with all the timestamps for all the different sections that I do during the show. So if you want to go straight to the quiz, you can click on that. If you want to go to the topic, if you want to go to Elvis history or Photoshop or anything like that, because I'm aware that not everybody wants to sit through the quiz, because it doesn't mean anything once the live has ended, or not everybody wants to sit through the Photoshop or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do. But that actually takes about 10 or 15 minutes. So you won't see that initially after the live stream. It'll take about 10 or 15 minutes. But I will do timestamps for everything that I do. Smoking hot, caption this photo and everything like that. Right, so here we go. Backwards Elvis. And if I can remember which button I assigned the Backwards Elvis to, I will give you the first one. And then you'll hear this new jingle. Okay, here we go. Number one. Okay. Greetings from Greece. Hello. Nice to have you along. I told you it was the Global Elvis Community Channel, didn't I? Right. Oh, hey. Ludane says, my little friend. Somebody was very quick off the mark there. Duncan Campbell, Timothy Lee, Gosh, no clue. Jack Mullins. Well done, Jack. Okay, so it was That's What You Get for Loving Me. And Maxine is saying Dylan Bowen. And I'm pretty sure as well. Sally Cook, greetings from Australia. Wow, what time of the day is it over in Australia? Actually, I must start putting the Australian show times on the call to action that I post through the week. So, because I know there's a big following in Australia as well. This is obviously right up Lou Dane, says Dylan Bowen. This is obviously right up Dylan Street again, just like the jumpsuits. Dylan, have you got a turntable? Right, here we go. The new jingle is
Man, I was tame compared to what they do now. Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. We just jiggle. No, yeah.
So actually, it's not a jingle. It's a jiggle. I should call that a jiggle. Listen to what he says.
Man, I was tame compared to what they do now. Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. We just jiggle. No, yeah.
And then a lady calls out after that, well, give us a jiggle. Sally Cook says it's 4:40 a.m. in Australia. Wow. Okay, so I better start putting 4:30 a.m. on my Australian, for my Australian customers. Jiggle, says Jeff Davison, laugh out loud. I have a working turntable from 1963. Wow. Kirsty says 1972 press conference. Yes. Yeah, that's correct. Right, so that's the first one down. That's what you get for loving me. And that was Dylan. So here we go with number 2. Are you ready, folks? Have you got your fingers on the keyboard? Here we go. Wow. Okay. Reconsider baby. Okay. There was definitely 2 voices on there, wasn't there? Somebody singing harmony. Okay. And I'll tell you what it was, because quite a few people have got it now. It's I Will Be Home Again. And I'm getting a notification here that it was Jack Mullins. So is Jack going to get the jiggle? Jack is going to get the jiggle. Here we go.
Man, I was tame compared to what they do now. Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. We just jiggle. No, yeah.
Show us a jiggle. Yeah, well done, Jack. Yeah. It sounds like Cheryl on harmony. Well, yeah, but as we know, it was Charlie Hodge. Sarah says pokes Jack. Give him a poke. Okay, here we go. And this one has a very distinctive intro, so the end is going to give it away, if that makes sense. Backwards Elvis number 3. Yeah, that's bound to have given it away. That bit right at the very, very beginning. Michael Perks is obviously he's typed a whole load of gobbledygook. So that's obviously backwards Elvis. Yeah, I knew a lot of people would get that. Ruth Daniel, hi Ruth, haven't seen you in a few weeks, or maybe you have been here, I just didn't see your name. But yes, it is Pocket Full of Rainbows, and I didn't see who was first for that. Well, Lou Dane says Dylan. So Dylan, looks like it's 2 to you and 1 to Jack so far. Okay, so you're going to get the jiggle.
Man, I was tame compared to what they do now. Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. We just jiggle. No, yeah.
I should have left the bit on where the girl shouts, "Give me a jiggle." Right, number 4. Here we go. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Number 4. That was a little bit of Pocket Full of Rainbows at the start there. Oh my goodness me, look at all this. Yes. Where Elvis Presley lived. Yep. Memphis, Tennessee. I don't believe it. Was it Dylan again? Wow. Yeah, the Elvis family says Dylan got it first. somebody else is saying Ruth Daniel. Okay. Although I've got to admit that Lou Dane is saying Dylan Bowen as well. So Jack was a close second. Alrighty. Here we go. Jack says so close. So jiggle for Dylan.
Man, I was tame compared to what they do now. Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. We just jiggled. No, yeah.
Okay, Dylan, have you got a turntable? Because you're just blowing everybody out of the water at the moment. Here we go, number 5, and again, very distinctive sound to this. It'll just be whoever can type it the quickest. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So many people are getting that. And Maxine says Danny B-side. I thought Danny B-side was not joining us tonight because he's on holiday. Maybe he's just popped in for the quiz. So I love that song as well. I think it's one of the better songs from Frankie and Johnny. But actually, overall, Frankie and Johnny is a great soundtrack. Actually, I remember Brent saying on his live stream on Friday, I think it was Friday. There were so many good soundtrack songs, and even I felt like, and I typed actually onto the comments that A Dog's Life, okay, no good, not no good, but a nothing song when you listen to it on the LP, but when you watch Elvis on Paradise Hawaiian Style with the dogs busting himself laughing, it's a completely different song. It's a completely different song. So Danny gets the jiggle.
Man, I was tame compared to what they do now. Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. We just jiggled. No, yeah.
Okay. Brent, there's Brent. Brent, I don't know if you caught me saying earlier on, but I've chosen your song as I Wish Elvis Had Recorded. So stay with us. Okay. Here we go. 6th and final question, and also the last question of the month for Fan of the Month. Somebody is going to win that album, the vinyl, and if it's a case of you not having a turntable, well, then we can substitute it for something else. But this is it, the final question of this month. I think he's gone and done it again. Duncan Campbell's got 20 days and 20 nights. Don has got 20 days and 20 nights. Ruth Daniel has it as well. Well done, Ruth, because that's what it is. Jack, yeah. Edwidge. Timothy Lee, I'll never know. No, it wasn't, but I can see where you can get that from. And Maxine is saying he has, Steve. Dylan has got it again. So I'm not saying definitely that Dylan is the winner, but he's going to be close because he got, how many did he get this week? He got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he got, was it 5 the other week as well when we did the jumpsuit? So, yeah. Well done, Dylan. And you get the final jiggle.
Man, I was tame compared to what they do now. Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. We just jiggled. No, yeah.
I don't do anything but just jiggle. Yamina Burleson, thank you very, very much for the super chat. Just remember, if you're going to send me a super chat, you can say something as well. I mean, if there's something you want to say to me and get your value for money, you can you can do that as well. They've sent me a sticker and it says thanks. Thanks to you, Yamina. I would imagine Yamina is a lady, a young lady, and it's good to have you aboard. Thanks very much for that. So coming up is the topic in a second. But also coming up is Elvis history, Photoshop, I wish Elvis had recorded, smoking hot, caption this photo, a YouTube channel I recommend. And I'd also like to say that that poll that's coming up in a few minutes is a good one. It's a real good one. Right, so I know some people have been wary of this topic, and I know that it's this week's topic is Let's Destroy Elvis. And you might think, what is Steve on about? What is it? Why would he want to destroy Elvis? We will be dreaming of Elvis jiggling tonight. Thanks, Maxine. Well, I don't want to destroy Elvis, but the way that I see things going on social media and in books and things like that and newspaper articles and so forth, it seems that there is a vendetta out there to bring him down. And it seems even more so since, I was going to say now Elvis has become relevant again, but he was always relevant, but he's become a little bit more relevant since the release of the Baz Luhrmann movie. So, as I say, it hasn't at least become relevant again. He's just a little bit more relevant and a little bit more out there again. But Elvis has always been relevant, and he always will be relevant. But this is this week's topic was inspired by a video I stumbled across on Facebook. I slipped, I stumbled, but I didn't fall. When I, you see what I did there? When I came across it. And, you know, it's one of those videos that you come across that's done by the media. One of like those, it's like a media channel that does sort of these videos, and they always do the 10 best of this or the 10 worst or what's, and it's not even narrated by a human. It's one of these robotic sort of speech to text voices, which gets my goat straight away. But it was called The Dark Truth About Elvis Presley. Right now, I'm not going to tell you the name of the Facebook channel because I don't really want to give it any credence, and I don't want to give it any sort of publicity that it doesn't really deserve. But what they started off by saying Elvis never wrote a song. Oh no, they said, starts by saying, we think we all know about Elvis's life and career, but there are some dark aspects. And the first thing they list is Elvis never wrote a song and only occasionally played guitar. Okay, well, straight off, that's completely wrong, as we know. Okay, Elvis didn't write many songs, but he did write a song, and they quote Elvis in a 1957 interview. Okay, he'd only been in the business, as Elvis liked to call it, a couple of years. So, well before You'll Be Gone. All right. And they then go on to say how that his name was put to some of the songs just for publicity. Okay, well, straight away, we know again that that's not right. It's to do with the publishing. And then they go on to say that the Colonel and Elvis cheated their way to royalties by insisting that song publishers surrender part of their publishing, like they had no choice. Oh, yes, they did. If they didn't want to surrender their publishing, they could find somebody else to record their song. And we know that some people did turn around and say, well, we're not going to do it. And Dolly Parton proved it with I Will Always Love You. Then they said that he pretended to be a police officer. No, he didn't pretend to be a police officer. He collected police badges. And then they said about him dressing up as a police officer. Yes, he did when he went to a police officer's funeral. and he didn't want to stand out because everybody else there was going to be dressed as a police officer. So why not? Why not allow him to dress as a police officer? But he didn't pretend to be a police officer. And this is one that really, 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 really got my goat. I could feel that sort of the heckles rising when they mentioned this. Young girls. He had a penchant for young girls, and was insecure about his manhood. That's why he picked inexperienced young girls, and most partners were under 15 years of age. Where does that come from? Can anybody tell me where this information has come from? It's just completely and utterly false. No, it doesn't. There's nowhere that can be found that Elvis Presley was a sexual predator and he preyed on under 15s. Oh, the only place you can find it is in videos like this. Ridiculous. And of course, they're going to use the fact that Priscilla was 14 years of age when he met her. Again, she didn't move into Graceland until 1962. So, anyway. The next one was he was fixated on James Dean. So much so that that was the reason he dated Natalie Wood. Actually, he didn't date Natalie Wood because Natalie was in Rebel Without a Cause. He dated Natalie Wood because, as far as I remember, she actually made a play for him. And another thing, while they're talking about this, they show that awful Photoshop with Elvis and James Dean together, which I showed a few weeks ago, which is plainly a Photoshop. They never met. And the whole video is riddled with inaccuracies and poor Photoshops, and that just being one of them. All right. So then they say that he was a glutton, and they then go on to how many times have we heard this, folks? We about the Fool's Gold, the Colorado Mining Company in Denver, and flying all the way out just to get one. I've got a picture here somewhere. One, him just by himself and the Memphis Mafia going out to get one of these great big jelly and peanut butter Fool's Gold sandwiches. But the truth of that is, and for anybody that has actually listened to my interview with Ron Strauss, Destined to Fly, from Iowa to Elvis, they'll know that that is a complete and utter fabrication, and he didn't just fly out to get one of those or a tray of those for him and the boys. It was actually Lisa Marie's birthday, and there was a lot more than just him and the guys on the plane. So again, they've twisted it, and as I say, if you want to visit that and listen to my interview with Ron Strauss, you can, and I'll put a link down below, actually, if I remember. Make it easy for you to find. And then also, he was a germaphobe, apparently. He had his own silverware, and when he drank from a coffee cup or a cup with a handle, he used to twist it round so as he would drink over where the handle was. So the handle was here, and he'd... But funny enough, they never showed that photograph while they were telling us about him being a germaphobe. And they said that they didn't want his mouth touching where everyone else's mouth had touched. And this is a man that kisses countless girls during Love Me Tender and all the other songs that he's singing in concert from 1969 to 1977. But apparently, according to this video, he didn't want his mouth touching anywhere where somebody else's mouth had been. So again, I'm at my wit's end how they can make up these stories. And the final thing that did it for me was when they were talking about him going into the army. It said that he vanished into the army in 1957. Well, of course, we all know that it wasn't 1957 he went into the army. It was 1955, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was 1955, wasn't it? No, it was 1958, for heaven's sake. But they say 1957. So that was something I wanted to get off my chest this week, simply because when I stumbled across, I don't even know why it was recommended to me, but when it was recommended to me and I had an idle 15 or 20 minutes, I watched it. I wish I hadn't watched it now, against my better judgment. And that's the rubbish that is going around about Elvis Presley. And it seems to be on a regular basis now. It seems to be Facebook more than anything else. Although I'm sure there are other platforms that spout out these dark secrets about Elvis Presley as well. And there seems to be a vendetta against him. And that is why I feel that it is let's destroy Elvis. He's open game as far as I can see at the moment. And Maxine says Facebook is trash. Well, that particular site is. I won't tell you what that site is, simply because, as I say, I wouldn't want to give it any recognition. But I'm pretty sure if you actually fed in the dark truth about Elvis Presley, it would probably come up for you anyway. But take it from me, don't bother, because it's trash and it's inaccurate, and I just wanted to get that off my chest. If you want to call in and talk to me about that in a few minutes, I will be opening the phone lines. But on a lighter note, lots of YouTube comments say horrible things about Elvis. Yes, that's true. Yeah, they do. But I want, on a lighter note, I want to do this the poll, and it is. We were talking a lot about the Today album a few weeks ago, and Duncan even did some old Elvis guy, Duncan Campbell, did a feature on the Today album. So I'm curious to know what your favorite mid-1970s album is. So which is your favorite album? Raised on Rock, Good Times, Promised Land, or Today? And that should be coming up now in your feed, in the live chat. Just fingers crossed that it will come up. Did I launch it? Yes, I did. Great. For a minute there, I wasn't sure whether I launched it or not. I don't want to close it. Okay. Right. So that's the poll for this week, and please do vote on it. It doesn't. We don't know who votes. We just know what percentage each album gets. Raised on Rock, Good Times, Promised Land, Today, and I will tell you the result near the end of the show. If you're watching this on playback, you won't be able to vote and you won't be able to see the result, but I will tell you the result. So please stick around. Still coming up, Photoshop. I wish Elvis had recorded. Smoking Hot. Caption this photo. Got a lot of funny captions for that photo. YouTube channel I recommend. And then I'll be telling you that poll result. I better open the phone lines. I know there's one fella that's very, very keen to talk to me, because he even said on the chat at the beginning, I've got something good for Steve tonight. So it'll be interesting to see what it is. Wow. And it's not him. Hello.
Hi, Steve.
Is that Marcy?
It is.
I'm so pleased to speak to you. Hi, Marcy. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yes. Well, you can tell I was a little bit annoyed about that article that they put up on Facebook.
I was so fuming. Because I am actually visually impaired. My oldest daughter actually goes through my Facebook, and one of these particular things about Elvis popped up, and she was like, "Mom, I'm not even stopping here and reading any of this because you'll be mad at me, and I'm not trying to deal with that today."
Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure if it is the same one that you're talking about.
Well, there's loads of them, you see. That's the trouble. But this one just particularly stuck in my craw, and I just thought I have to address this. I really do have to address it,
Right. And because, like you said, because of the movie and bringing him back out in today's world of, of the media frenzies, they're going to have something to say just because they're opening him to a younger viewers, and so much of these younger generations are getting back into Elvis that maybe was never introduced to him. So they'll do anything to try to squash that, and I hate that because there's so much good about Elvis that they would just focus on what they think they know about Elvis without even actually getting to know Elvis. And it's horrible.
Why do you think they do it? What's the purpose of doing it?
I really don't know, and everybody has an opinion about someone's fame and fortune. Like, of course, they're going to make up these, oh, well, he lied to get to the top, or they cheated to get to the top. Those kind of stories are out there about everybody, but it seems because Elvis was who he was and such a giver and such a humanitarian that they try to badmouth him so badly that they just, and it's horrible. It really makes me so mad when I see stuff like that, because like I've read a lot of books. I do a lot of the Google search. I do listen to a lot of stuff and about Elvis, and I have never come across anything or any interview or anything where anybody has just been so horribly disgusted with Elvis where they would say things like that.
That's right.
But I do want to address that I actually did watch a interview that Priscilla did on a talk show one night. I'm not sure what the gentleman's name was, but it was an interview where Priscilla actually did mention that Elvis, like if they went to someone's home, like for dinner, that Elvis did actually drink backwards from the cup where the handle was. And I also had the same kind of question that you did. Like, I know that he did kiss ladies and stuff like that. And I was thinking, so what makes it different from him drinking out of the cup if he's just kissing random women?
Exactly.
So I never really understood that, but I did hear Priscilla say that because the gentleman asked her, was there anything that may be out there about Elvis that we didn't know that she knew? And she did bring up that Elvis did not like drinking from other people's cups, and so he always drank backwards from where the handle actually was, because he didn't. So I just thought that was weird, and it came from Priscilla, so I was like, well, it's different. I mean, but I was much like you. I didn't understand, like, well, he kisses girls and stuff like that. I've seen those on the videos, and so I didn't that was different, definitely different, but. I did hear that, but all of the other things that media is saying is just it's ratchet. So I don't try to read those or let my daughter read those or anything.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was just so inaccurate as well. Fixated by James Dean. He wasn't fixated by James Dean. He was a James Dean fan, but he wasn't fixated by him. And I don't think the fact that he dated Natalie Wood because she was in Rebel Without a Cause either. In fact, I think Natalie Wood did the chasing, didn't she?
I think so. Yes, I do believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it's just that, but I'm so glad that you brought that up. So, but I do agree. All that is just, it's rubbish. Okay. I don't like that.
Okay. Well, thanks, Marcy. And by the way, thanks for calling in, and thanks for my wee prezi that you sent me as well. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I was like, I had a whole box and I was like, you know what? Like my husband purchased me the whole folder that had all 660 cards in it, but he had already previously bought me the box of cards. And I was like, you know what? Like not everybody appreciates Elvis like I do. So I sent them to you. So yeah, you're totally welcome.
Very kind. Thank you very much, Marcy. And I hope you'll call in again.
Oh, yes, definitely. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Marcy. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hello.
Hello, Steve.
Hey, Maxine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
What do you think of this topic?
Oh, it's a load of, excuse my French, bullshit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. BS is right.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Let's see now. He never wrote a song in his life and only occasionally played the guitar. Is that right? Yeah, really?
No, that's completely fake. They don't. Thing about these videos is they don't bother to research the actual facts.
They don't. No, they don't.
Oh my gosh, it's like, how can you do that to someone?
We've got so much footage of Elvis actually playing guitar. It's unreal.
Exactly. So it's like, are you going to seriously tell me that's not Elvis playing a guitar?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. What else? Let's see now. They cheated their way to royalties by insisting that song publishers surrender part of their publishing. Well, as I said, they had a choice. They didn't cheat themselves to royalty.
No, they didn't.
He pretended to be a police officer. No, he didn't. He did dress up as one. Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, exactly. This is one that really, really got me though. Young girls. Most of his partners were under 15 years of age.
No, they weren't. It was only Priscilla that they fell in love at the end of the day. But from what I've read, she pursued him.
Yeah.
Because he was still dating. What was her name? Forgotten her name now.
Anita.
Anita,
Yeah.
He was still seeing her. But the thing is, she was the only one. And after that, they were all above the age of 19, if not in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you class that as a young girl?
Exactly. The Fool's Gold story. Well, you can clear that up. You can clear that up just by listening to my interview with Ron.
Exactly.
Ron Strauss, the pilot. If anybody wants to check that out, I mean, he didn't just fly him and the boys over there to have the Fool's Gold.
Birthday.
Exactly, it was Felice's birthday. Germaphobe. Well, again, we've got footage of him kissing countless girls on the lips. So I don't know how he could be a germaphobe and kiss strangers on the lips.
He probably was with certain things, like the knives and forks. I've heard about that he took his own knives and forks to people's places, like houses and that. That's probably as far as it goes, but other than that, I can't see that happening. Yeah,
and I'm not too sure whether he did he might have done it very, very occasionally, but turning the cup around so that he would drink above the handle. I mean, again, we've got photographs of him just drinking normally, and also something that's just sprung to me as well. You know, when they're doing the rehearsals for That's the Way It Is, the bit where he does the yodeling and he does the bridge over troubled water and all that, he's drinking coffee or tea from a yellow cup, and he's holding that with the handle, and he's just drinking normally as well. That's another bit of footage. So
they just do my nutting because they know it's not true. They do it to get people wound up. That's the issue.
But and also they got us wound up, but the casual Joe on the street probably takes that and says, oh, all those must be true because they say they're true.
Exactly, but they don't. Then people don't bother going to do the research themselves. Look at all the Elvis fan channels that there are. There's more of them than what there is haters. And the funny thing is, they think they're going to bring down Elvis. It ain't going to work because they tried the same with Michael Jackson. But look at him; he's back up there, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Alrighty, okay. Well, we're getting it off our chest anyway. I feel better now than when I started the show anyway, because I could feel the temper rising in me already, thinking, well, when I read out these dark secrets, I'm just going to lose it.
Oh no, I just sit there laughing at them because they're stupid. Yeah. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. All right, okay. Thanks, Maxine.
All right.
Cheers,
bye.
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 Yeah, just absolute rubbish. So how are we doing on the Which Is Your Favourite album? Raised on Rock, Good Times, Promised Land, and Today. And I see that people are still voting. Okay, here we go. Hello. Aha, Dylan.
Yes.
I saw your comment on the chat earlier on that you've got a great...
I've gotten... yeah, I right, listen to this. This is a belter. Right, you ready for this?
I'm ready for
So,
it.
apparently, yeah. You know how Elvis's hair is different in the Aloha rehearsal?
Sorry, say it again.
His hair is different in the Aloha
Yes,
rehearsal.
it's completely different in the rehearsal to the actual broadcast show.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, this is a belter. Right, you ready for this? Apparently, some deluded people are saying that Jesse, who died at birth, was Elvis' stunt double, and he did the rehearsal show, and then Elvis did the broadcast.
Yeah.
Now, how can you say that someone who passed away at birth miraculously came to life at the age of 38, by the way, did a show, and then was never seen again? Like, how? Like, how is that a thing?
Well, you see, this is actually nothing new to me because I've heard this. Jesse was the rehearsal and Elvis was the broadcast. I've heard that before, but it's not only that. But they don't only say that Jesse survived, but they also said that actually Gladys had triplets, and there was another one called Franklin. So it gets even weirder.
Yeah.
So I just don't know what to say. I really do not. I'm at a loss of what to say to these people.
Oh, do you want to hear another one that I absolutely love just because it's so funny? People say Elvis faked cry on stage. No, he didn't. Look at if you talk in your sleep. Look at it. Use your eyeballs and look at it. He's there doing complicated, complex moves. If I did that, I would break my legs.
Yeah.
He does it. He does it effortlessly. And so you're saying to me it's fake. Okay, well, you try and do it, and I bet you by a minute you'll be in a neck brace on the way to a hospital because you've got a broken leg. I mean, those are the two that really get me.
Well, just going back to the Jesse thing again. I mean, where was Jesse between 1935 and 1973?
In 1973, like where? It's like no, but like I love the idea of like Elvis of like Jesse like being in hiding for like 38 years, and then like all of a sudden like it just pops up like hi, and then just like goes again.
Yeah, but I mean, in 1935, for them to put him into hiding for whatever reason, they must have known that Elvis was going to become famous in 1954. How did they know in 1935 that they were going to need somebody to back Elvis up when nobody knew in 1935 what course his life was going to take? It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. And obviously, don't get me started about the pastor in Benton, whatever you do, because that would just finish me off. You know what I'm talking about when I say that, don't you?
Bob Joyce.
Yeah. But that's for another day.
Yeah, and the Home Alone one as well. Have you heard that one as well?
Say that again. Oh yeah, Home Alone. Yeah, we ought to really do a show just where people can ring in and tell me about where these supposedly Elvis sightings are. But Home Alone is another one. Yeah, but that was a fella called Grott, I think his name was. His surname was called Grott, and he was just a bit actor. And I mean,
to be fair, when you watch the film, you do kind of take it a double take because it's like whoa. But it's like, well, no, it can't have been because, like, at that point, he'd been gone for like 15 years. I want to say. I think at that point,
1990, I think it was.
Yeah. So but yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea.
I tell you, we're getting a lot off our chest today, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's good to get it off your
therapy,
chest.
This.
Huh?
I know, yeah. It's like therapy.
Yeah, it is like therapy. I agree. Yeah. But some of it is just so much nonsense. It's just unbelievable. Right. Okay. Thank you very, very much, Dylan. And well done in the. Oh, by the way, have you got a turntable?
Yeah.
Because you might need it.
Yeah.
I'll let everybody know next week if it's you anyway.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Cheers, Dylan. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I had actually, most of us will have heard of that before, that people are saying because Elvis looked so different in the Helloa rehearsal to what he looked in the broadcast show, that people are saying that was Jesse. Yeah, Jesse. Oh, my Lord. Hey, Brent.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Everybody, this is Brent from Elvis Nation. If you don't know that YouTube channel, then please check it out.
Yeah, if you know it's yeah, and if you don't, you will be saving yourself a horrific experience because the host is obnoxious. Other than that, everything else is good on that channel. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm really doing well.
Well, I totally get what you're saying about this topic, and you know what? I have a theory, and it might be credible, and it might be not. Okay. But a lot of it might be postmodernism because if you go back in like the 20s, 30s, and 40s when they made movies about celebrities, it was always in a favorable, heroic, shining light. And then we kind of entered an age of cynicism where we had to chip away at every person that achieved a certain amount of fame, where had Elvis been around in the 20s, all of the MGM pictures about him in the 40s would have been these triumphant tales of a great person. And so I'm wondering if it's the cynical times in which we live in, which might add to that kind of cutting away at Elvis's reputation thing.
It probably is. It probably is. It's a, we built you up, so let's tear you down sort of thing.
Yeah, and we love it because you see it even in the modern times. They kind of adulate you from the very beginning, and you're right. And then the minute you do something wrong, it is a feeding frenzy for these like buzzard carnivore journalists. And I think Elvis was the first way because I think also there was no one really popular like that before Elvis, like to that degree. Like they say, two people that were recognized around the world at one time were Charlie Chaplin and Elvis and Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. I mean,
and I think
there was no blueprint for what Elvis did. He was the first rock star, wasn't he? Without a doubt. And it was uncharted territory. And as I say, he was such a big influence on everything. And he became this huge. I mean, he said himself, the image is one thing, human being is another. But they built him up to such a pitch, and now it's almost like they all just want to pull it all down again.
Yeah, and I think it also just, I think psychologically, when we hate things about ourselves, we want to trash someone else to feel superior. And who else to do it to someone who's highly acclaimed, very affluent, and very much in the consciousness of people.
And also, it's a thirst for everything about him as well. People want to know everything about Elvis. And when they see 10 dark secrets about Elvis, they think, oh, let's learn something new about Elvis. The fact that it's all made up or inaccurate doesn't really matter, does it, to them? They just think they've learned something new about him.
Well, what gets me, though, I mean, if we're really going to pick on people, what about people who we verified that were criminal towards young people? I mean, Ted Nugent, during his prime, actually had a girlfriend that was underage, and he adopted her so he can get away from evading authorities, and yet he sells out concerts. Wow. Why are they not providing Elvis with that? And Elvis's were unfounded allegations. So that even makes it just a little more quizzical about why they would do that about something that hasn't, when there's plenty of proven accounts about people, and yet today they just kind of turn the other cheek with them or something. It is baffling and it is infuriating because those people out there still can defend themselves. Elvis cannot.
Yeah, that's true. That's another reason, you see, he isn't here to answer their accusations.
And I think it's very easy to kick a dead person, and of course it is. And it doesn't take much heroics to. And I just think, especially what you touched upon earlier, especially using that robotic synthesized voice kind of is more insult to injury too, isn't it? Not even a person is making these allegations.
Yeah. On a brighter note, what would you have voted for your favorite album? Raised on Rock, Good Times, Promised Land, or Today?
Oh, I'm a Good Times person. Oh, yeah. And
right.
Because I look at the Stax era as like a tale of two recording stretches, with so much Elvis resolving things in the middle of them. So when he came back in December to record the other tracks, a lot of them, some of them were, the old ones were on Good Times, but then Promised Land you got to see kind of the culmination of him moving beyond it, because those sessions in December went so much easier. But I think Good Times is kind of a tell about that. And that's not one that everyone loves the most. It just kind of calls out to me, even though technically I think Promised Land is of the higher quality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And sometimes what's endearing to you versus what is considered better. It's sort of like, Hound Dog is not my favorite Elvis song. I could find some filler songs I think are better, but yet I get why people like Hound Dog.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a lot subjective, but I think the main thing, Steve, is those 4 albums that you put up there, all of them, though, lend to the testament of what all those naysayers have said. Elvis's studio output in the mid 70s was a lot better than what what people really said about them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know something else as well, I've just thought as well, right? All 4 of those are studio albums. Yeah. Think of the covers. They all had live in concert photos on the front, didn't they? Jumpsuit. Why was that? Why was that?
Because I think like someone told me that the Colonel was really impressed with Elvis's, concerts it was a lucrative enterprise and to associate. But the problem is some people thought they were live albums. Yeah. And if you already had any of the live albums before, you're like, why am I going to get, which it's really sad because the 70s, it was really a time for imaginative album covers. Mm-hmm. And they could have really done some cool things with Elvis for album covers during that time. Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but it's woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Of course, Elvis Presley Boulevard actually says on there, doesn't it, recorded live, even though it isn't. It was, they argue, well, he recorded it live in the Jungle Room. But people thought they were getting
by it. Yeah, that was such a technicality. That was such, oh my God. And yeah, the 70s albums just lacked covers. It lacked so much imagination and stuff, kind of made them generic. And of course they say don't judge a book by its cover, but people judge sometimes albums back then by the cover, because if it weren't on the radio, what would be the impetus for you to go out and get that album?
Yeah.
And it's just too bad. It just really is. But Steve, I thank you though for airing this today about this topic, because I do think it's really important that we all need to really be out there and defend Elvis, because if we say nothing, then the other opinion will be the standing opinion.
I left comments on the Facebook page that had posted this Dark Secrets malarkey, and they don't answer. They just throw them up and then they just don't even bother with people's reactions. But so many people sort of watch them, I think, that they just make so much revenue, they don't care what you think anyway.
Well, yeah, and they're part of the race to the bottom culture anyway. Yeah. They don't want to use this new medium of technology to uplift us or take us to a higher plane. It just all is bottom barrel kind of stuff. And but that's why I think what you do is great, because you are out there telling a story that cannot, telling the truth. That it's like the light cutting through the darkness thing, and you're doing a great job of that. So I mean, I'm glad that. And one last thing, Steve, everybody please hit because I know what it's like as a creator, hit the like button.
Yes.
187 watching, but only 126 hit the like button. That means 60 of you.
Yeah, because I was listening to you on, was it Friday night you did one, and you were saying about how,
I think it was,
it literally the way, YouTube does look at the thumbs, and the more thumbs something gets, the more they're likely to promote it. So
right, and they don't look at it as a lack of like hits as a benign kind of approach. They actually view it as you didn't like the video.
Yeah.
So every time what you said it so perfectly, and I love it. It's a click for Elvis.
Yeah, it's a like for Elvis. It's not for me. It's not for the channel. It's a like for Elvis. That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, thank you so
much. All right,
much,
Brent.
Steve.
Great to talk to you. Great to talk to you. All right. Bye. Bye. Yes. Now, folks. Yes, Brent. Brent is the guy that runs Elvis Nation. Great Elvis YouTube channel, and I would urge you, if you don't already watch his videos, please do check it out. Elvis Nation. Right. So yeah, my head is spinning a little bit because when you get sort of wound up about something, it tends to get you a little, the adrenaline starts running a little bit. But Brent did make some very, very good points there, as the other callers did make as well. So, please do keep voting on Raised on Rock, Good Times, Promised Land, or Today as your favorite mid-70s album. And I might do other years, eras as well, and give you 4 albums to choose from, because it's interesting. It's interesting. I have mine from that list. Even before I typed out those 4 titles, I knew which one was my favorite. Right, so we're going to do Elvis history, and we're going to do what's this? Oh yes, I meant to show you these, and I'll show them now. Raised on Rock, Good Times, Promised Land, and Today. I should have shown you those when I first mentioned the poll, but I was kind of distracted. So those are the ones I'm asking you to vote on. Is Raised on Rock your favorite album from the mid-70s? Good Times, Promised Land. I could tell you which is my favorite jumpsuit, the Peacock, or Today. Okay, and as I said to Brent, all 4, even though they're studio albums, okay, all 4 have jumpsuit live concert photographs, even though they're studio albums. So there you go. Okay, right. So this day in Elvis history, 30th of April, 1955, Elvis performed Tweedledee at Louisiana Hayride from the Gladewater High School Gymnasium. Louisiana Hayride remote broadcast. So that's what they were doing at the times. Elvis could be somewhere else, but he would remotely sing the song and they would broadcast it on the radio. And there it is. And he's got young fans there, and I'm sure that they're playing the small guitar is Charlie Hodge. I'm not sure whether it is Charlie Hodge. Okay. 1956. We've got. I thought I had a picture of this, but maybe not. Let's have a look. No, I haven't. Okay. 1956, New Frontier Hotel. The 2-week gig is about to become 1 week. So that's where he was. He was in Las Vegas on this day in 1956. 1957, you just saw a brief glimpse of that. Elvis worked on Jailhouse Rock soundtrack recordings at Radio Recorders from 10 a.m. to 6:10 p.m. It was at this session that Elvis first met Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller. And there's Elvis on the drums in Radio Recorders. There's a good shot of George Klein behind him. What else have we got? Yeah, fantastic shot there. I'm pretty sure he's probably recording Jailhouse Rock there. I'll tell you this: the tracks he laid down this day was Jailhouse Rock. He Treat Me Nice, first movie version, and Young and Beautiful. Look at that for a smile. He's diddling on the piano there. 1960, GI Blues. That's a fun still, isn't it? He's got to choose between guitar or gun. Okay. Then we've got Girls, Girls, Girls in 1962. And I've got another photo here. And I just wanted to pick this one really because I think that Elvis just looks fabulous in that shot. Girls, Girls, Girls. Look at that tan, that Hawaiian tan. 1964, we've got, for the first time, Elvis had his hair done by Larry Geller. Not just a hair guy, Larry became his spiritual guide. At the time, Larry worked for the salon owned by Jay Sebring, one of the victims of the Manson family murders at the Polanski Tate home. Larry would later publish books on hair and several on Elvis. And 1965, we have Harem Scarum. It was actually Hiram Scarum post-production on this day in 1965. 1966, Elvis's single Frankie and Johnny hit number 25 in the US. And there's a nice shot of Elvis taken during the filming of Frankie and Johnny. 1967, we have Elvis's last night as a single man, because as we know, 1st of May 1967, he married Priscilla Presley. 1968, Live a Little, Love a Little. Then we've got 1969, Change of Habit. 1971, Elvis flew to Palm Springs for the weekend. We've got some live shots here now. 1973, Elvis performed at the Denver Coliseum, Denver in Colorado. And that strikes me as one where he's probably just come on and he's sort of looking at everybody and saying, here I am, folks. And 1975, Elvis performed at the Omni Atlanta in Georgia. And it wasn't a jumpsuit. It was a two-piece. And I am a big fan of the two pieces, the suits. I really like them. I also like the 72 ones where he was wearing the psychedelic shirts and the pants as well. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the two-piece suits. So that was on this day in 1975. 1976. Elvis performed at the Sahara Toho State Line, Nevada. This was the opening night of the Tahoe engagement, and Elvis was not well at all, unfortunately. Now, I didn't find any photographs from the 30th, but I've got some here from May the 2nd. And I don't think Elvis looks too bad, actually. He must have recovered, but that's the V-neck. And that was the Sahara Toho, May 2nd, 1976. Okay, I think that's the last one. We've got some 1977 shots as well, because he was in he was in a concert in 1976 at the Civic Center, St. Paul, Minnesota, and we've got Minnesota photographs here. That's a lovely profile shot. Of course, the sundial. The sundial featured an awful lot in 1977, as we know. They're fan photographs, so they're not the best quality. That's that. That's the Civic Center, St. Paul, Minnesota. Let's just go around to that one again. Yeah, that's a nice one. That is a nice one. Now, a reminder for you to vote on the poll, because I would be interested in knowing which is your favorite album from the mid-70s. Raised on Rock. I can do this again, can't I? I should have done this earlier. Is Raised on Rock your favorite album from the mid-70s? Is Good Times? You can't say all of them. I haven't given you an option for all of them. Promised Land, with my favorite jumpsuit on the cover, or Today. Okay. Right. Photoshop, I believe, is next. Yes. Oh, I would ask you very, very kindly, bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a little box that you can tick on. And it's if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click the bell. And click the bell and turn it black. Don't just leave it white, because you won't get many notifications if you leave it on personalized. Again, it's something that does help with the channel. And like the likes as well. It's not a like for me or the channel. It's actually a like for Elvis. So every thumbs up is a like for Elvis. If you're watching this on playback as well, please, if you can like this video, because we're trying to get 300 likes. I failed last week, but the week before I got over 300 likes. Well, not me, but you know what I mean. Here's the caller coming in. Hey, Duncan.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
Good to see you. Well, good to speak to you anyway.
Yes.
How are
Good
you?
to speak to you too.
Although I did see you yesterday on your YouTube channel. The golden celebration box was the topic. Yeah, very, very good. Very, very good indeed.
Yeah. Topic today, I think it's really important that you raise this. I did encounter that myself over the last week or two, and it's important that as fans that we speak up.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that it's like anything else, the media has always liked to pull down people that are up. And the fact that the Baz movie has brought Elvis to people who maybe weren't familiar with him, younger people, and has made it a hot property for on a wider scale, I think means that people want to tear that down for their own ends. And I think they don't let the truth and facts get in the way of the agenda that they've got.
Well, you see, it's the old adage. It's the old adage that I said earlier on: "We'll make you, and we can break you." They build them up to knock them down.
Absolutely, and it's interesting to link it through to the poll today and the albums. Looking back, see at the time when you look at issues of Elvis Monthly that came out in the mid-70s. There was quite a lot of letters from supposedly Elvis fans being really quite critical of some of these albums.
Oh yes, yeah,
as not being of his good standard. I'm a big fan of those albums. I love them all. I love all of those albums.
It's not an easy choice, is it? It's definitely not an easy choice.
It's not an easy choice. I mean, I did vote in the poll. I did come down on one, but not an easy one. But again, people knocking Elvis, and I think it's become of benefit to them, if they are those kind of people, to knock Elvis because of where he is sitting right now in the mass media. And I think it's important that, because a lot of the stuff that's being said is either truth twisted or just facts just made up. And I'm not sure that society hasn't, in terms of ability to critically analyze things we hear and see, I'm not entirely convinced that we've not been dumbed down over the last 20 years or so, particularly the last 10 years, to not critically look at, you hear something so you accept it.
Yeah. Well, they also know what people click on, don't they? They know that, the 10 dark secrets of Elvis, that people are going to click on that.
Yes. And if they get the clicks they're getting, that's what they want.
Yeah.
So it's whatever they can say to make that happen.
Yeah. Let me guess what album you chose. I think you chose Today.
Strangely enough, Steve, yes, I did.
Yes.
As I said in the video I did on that session, it's an amazing session and a very focused session in that all the recordings from that session made that one album.
Yeah, yeah.
And personally, Pieces of My Life, to me, is one of Elvis's greatest performances. I put it up there on a level with tracks like Long Black Limousine. To my mind, the emotionality that he puts into that song is just nothing short of stunning. And you take a song like Bringing It Back, which is just absolutely beautiful song. And even songs like And I Love You So, that would be so easy to be cliched and to be saccharine, he doesn't do that with it. He manages to masterfully sing that song in a way that makes it tug at your heartstrings, and it just flows beautifully. So yes, I voted for Today. But that's not to that's not to criticise other albums, because I love them too.
Yeah, exactly. You had to pick one. You see, I couldn't put another option. All of them. That just would have been unfair. Wouldn't have made sense. Now I'm just trying to think if there's a weak track in the Today album. Actually, maybe Fairy Tale. He seems to be.
It's interesting though. Yeah, that he sang that so much though live.
Yeah.
But it's also if you look at the list of songs that are in there, he sang though a lot of those live for quite some time after 75.
Yeah.
If you think Trouble sang live, and I Love You So he was still doing live in the June tour of 77.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
He sang a Fairy Tale. He kept coming back to singing Fairy Tale live. So he sang quite a few at the time this came out and later on. He revisited. So he must have liked to revisit them a couple of years later. He must have liked the tracks on there too.
Yeah, it certainly is a good album. I'll tell you my favorite at the end of the show, but I don't think it'll be a surprise to you. All right, thanks, Duncan.
Lovely to talk to you.
Cheers. All the best.
All the best.
All the best. Bye. Yes, Duncan. I always say this. Duncan, great call. He always makes such valid points, great points, as do all my callers. I couldn't wish for a better crew of people watching and listening and contributing. You really do make my day on a Sunday, and you also make me feel a lot better now about the 10 dark secrets of Elvis. Oh yes. We were going to do a Photoshop next, I believe, because I finished This Day in Elvis History. I think I'll leave the poll open for a few more minutes because it looks like there are still people voting on it. Yes, Photoshop 1. Here we are. We have a lovely shot of Elvis in the audience while they were, I suppose it's the rehearsals for the June 5th appearance of the Milton Berle show. And as you can see, he's cozying up to a young lady, but actually he's not, because this is the actual show. This is the actual photograph taken from the rehearsals of that show. And it was Milton himself, Uncle Milty. But somebody has taken Milty out of it and put a young lady in there. So that is this week's Photoshop. And if there's a Photoshop that you keep stumbling across and you don't like seeing it, send it in to me. Email it in to me, elvistheultimatefanchannel@gmail.com. Send the Photoshop and the original if you can, and I can maybe cover it in a future show. So we have a song I wish Elvis had recorded. And this is by a caller, Brent, who was talking to me a few minutes ago from Elvis Nation, over at Elvis Nation. It's a song written and originally recorded by rock singer and pianist Leon Russell for his first solo album, Leon Russell, which was released in 1970 on the Shelter Records. A slow, pained plea for forgiveness and understanding for an estranged lover, the tune is one of Russell's best-known compositions. The song has been covered many times since its release. The most notable versions include the following. 1971, Andy Williams recorded the song for his covers album, You've Got a Friend. 1972, the Carpenters used the song for the name of their hit album, and Peggy Lee recorded the song in 1972. 2009, Whitney Houston recorded an up-tempo version for the song for her final studio album, I Look to You. 2011, Amy Winehouse recorded a soulful version from her home that was included on the posthumous Lioness Hidden Treasures compilation album. She was specifically covering the Donny Hathaway version and references him at the end of the recording. And that's the version that Brent has chosen as the song he wished Elvis had recorded. Brent says Donny Hathaway's version featured a soulful, haunting piano accompaniment that would have been so cool for Elvis to sing it in that fashion. The song is A Song for You, if you hadn't already guessed. Maybe some of you had. I absolutely adore this song, especially the Karen Carpenter version, and I agree wholeheartedly with Brent that this would have suited Elvis. So Yeah, I'm more familiar with the Karen Carpenter version than the Donny Hathaway version. So I listened to the Donny Hathaway version as well a couple of days ago when Brent suggested it, and it's a great rendition. And listen to the some of the lyrics. How could this not suit Elvis Presley? I've been so many places in my life and time. Yeah. I've sung a lot of songs. Yes, he did. I've made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life on stages. Yep. With 10,000 people watching. But we're alone now, and I'm singing this song for you. That describes Elvis's life perfectly, I believe. And as always, there will be a link below for you to click on it and listen to the song. I hope you're checking out these songs every week for the song I Wish Elvis Had Recorded, because some of them are very, very interesting. And that one there, it's a cracker. It's a real cracker, especially the Karen Carpenter one, I must admit. Karen Carpenter, I always felt that, I say that nobody can beat Elvis's voice. And I always think now that Karen Carpenter was probably the best female voice I've ever heard. That's my opinion. So you've got Elvis Presley, the best male voice, and Karen Carpenter, the best female voice. Of course, it's all subjective, but I've often thought that you've got Elvis and Karen, male, female, everybody else follows. A YouTube channel I recommend, Todd Slaughter's Elvis Tales of the Unexpected. That's the title of the YouTube channel that I'm recommended. He became president of the UK official Elvis Presley fan club in 1967. He met Elvis and the Colonel many times and was filmed by the CBS cameras in Indianapolis on June 26th, prior to what turned out to be Elvis's last concert, being presented with a trophy by Elvis for his 10 years in charge of the fan club. He's also written books about him, the latest published in April last year, titled Colonel Parker, Hero or Heel. As I say, he met, by the way, that there, Donny Hathaway, a song for you. There you go. Now, Todd met Elvis numerous times, and there he is in, I think that's 1972, 73. If Todd's watching, he'll correct me. And then there's another one here, which is him meeting the Colonel. Again, that's a very suspect hat that Todd's wearing, but each to his own. So I must get Todd on the show. I keep meaning to ask Todd if he'll come on and speak to us, because he has so many memories of running the fan club for so many years, taking fans across the Atlantic to see Elvis in Las Vegas live at the Hilton and the International Hotel and so forth. And actually, Todd appears actually in Elvis in Concert, the 1977 TV special as well. So that's the one I recommend. Todd Slaughter's Elvis Tales of the Unexpected. And I can see where Todd got that from. Years ago in the 70s, there used to be a program called Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected. And there was always a little twist at the end of the program. So Todd Slaughter's Elvis Tales of the Unexpected. That's the one I recommend this week. And hi, Todd, if you're watching. Right. So we've got, there's still people voting on which is your favorite album: Raised on Rock, Good Times, Promised Land, and Today. A little reminder as well that if anybody watching this didn't want to watch it all the way through, although if you're watching now, you must be watching it all the way through, I'm going to leave some timestamps for the different subjects that I covered tonight, so you can just click on those and jump to them. I've got to caption this photo, haven't I? Yes. And then I'm going to do smoking hot photo as well. But the caption I put on the community tab on Monday or Tuesday and asked people to caption this charming photo of Elvis and this little old lady. And what people have said is, ma'am, where can I get a couple of those hairnets? It's impressive that you can take your teeth out, ma'am, but still. I'm really sorry, ma'am, but the leading lady role has already been given to Deborah Paget. Grandma, I think I've got something stuck in my ear, because Elvis is kind of going like that. But the one that won, and I think it got over 20 likes actually, because what I want you to do when I put a caption in this photograph, leave a caption, but also click a like for the one that you like the most. And it's Vilma Morrow. Vilma, you got the best caption, and it's no grandma. I'm not asking you out on a date. I said I'm taking you home because it's late. So that was the nicest one, and that was the one that got the most thumbs up as well. I probably would have picked that one even if it hadn't have got the most likes. Vilma Morrow. Well done, Vilma. So, Smoking Hot. Yes, Smoking Hot. Here we go. Smoking Hot photograph. And there we are. That is Elvis. That was sent in, I think, by Kirsty. I think it was Kirsty that sent that in. The one that runs the Instagram exposing Elvis photoshops. I'm pretty sure Kirsty sent that in to me as an idea for a smoking hot photo. And if you want to send in ideas for a smoking hot photo, then email them to me at elvistheultimatefanchannel@gmail.com. I'm going to close the poll because I can't wait any longer. Okay. I'm surprised. Here we go. We've got Promised Land winning 39%, Today 23%, Raised on Rock 18%, and a tie for fourth place, Good Times 18%. So 39 to Promised Land, 23 to Today, and both on 18%, Raised on Rock and Good Times. Mine didn't win, because, as I was saying to Duncan earlier on, I don't think it will be a surprise. My favourite out of those four would be Today. And Bringing It Back would be my favourite track from that album. And it's just every time I listen to it, his vocal on that Bringing It Back is just amazing. Amazing. So, as I said, I will put the links to all the things that I promised I would. And also, I'll do timestamps as well for the different sections. So anybody watching this on playback can just jump to what they want. Thank you very, very much for listening to me venting tonight about these 10 dark facts. I just felt I had to get it off my chest. Hopefully next week's topic won't be as depressing or as annoying. Thanks to my moderators, Maxine and Lou Dane. I still had a lot of fun, I must admit, on ETUFC, Elvis the Ultimate Fan Channel, the Global Elvis Community Channel. I like that. It's got a nice ring to it. I think I'll keep that banner up. What do you think? It's a holiday here in Ireland and the UK tomorrow, so I have no work. But I'll probably be doing channel work anyway. It's always Elvis. Elvis, Elvis, Elvis. Until next Sunday, please look after yourselves. Take care, everyone.
Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night.